Have you ever wanted to give an illustrious TED Talk? Well, I just had my first TEDx talk just this past weekend, and I am sharing with you the 3 unusual tips that I did to help me prepare to give an epic TEDx talk. And for the best leadership tips, entrepreneurship advice, and subconscious success strategies to help you stand out fearlessly, build your empire, and crown yourself, then be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and make sure you hit the bell to be notified every Tuesday and Friday when a new video goes live. Hey there, I'm Kimberly Spencer, high performance coach and founder of crownyourself.com. And as a mom of 2 little ones, when I only found out that I had 3 weeks to prepare for my TEDx talk, my first ever, this literal dream come true, man, I got crazy with how I prepared. So here are my 3 ways in which I prepared to give my TEDx motivational speech. Step number 1, rehearse everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I got a little crazy in how much and where I rehearsed. I rehearsed on the elliptical. I rehearsed in the nail salon. I rehearsed with a baby in a Bjorn. I rehearsed while pumping for my baby's breast milk. Like, I literally rehearsed every single place that I could at any moment that I had even the semblance of free time. And because I was rehearsing everywhere, not always did I have the most receptive of audiences. I have a 4-year-old and a 3-month-old, and I tell you, you will never feel more accomplished giving a speech than after you've given a speech to the worst audience ever. Now, I love my kids, but I literally got interrupted at every second, heckled, and actually pooped on while giving my speech. It completely eliminated the fear of anything bad happening to me while on the TEDx stage. Step number 2, hire a professional coach. So I went into this TEDx event super excited and knowing that I would need a third party to support me. While my husband has been a speaker for over 30 years, he still has a bias as to how strong my speech is or not because he loves me. And so he may not be as sharp with his critique or feedback. So I hired the amazing Rachel Rodriguez, her LinkedIn is in the description below, to be my TEDx speaker coach. She and I had been in a mastermind earlier this year, and through that mastermind, she had shared that she not only helped people with their TEDx speeches, like the CEO of Salesforce, but she had also helped craft it because she was a writer. So I knew that brevity is not my specialty as a writer and as a speaker. And so cutting down a talk to be 12.5 minutes, between 12.5 minutes and 18 minutes was going to be a challenge for me. So I needed a coach that not only would coach me in my speaking ability, but who would also coach me in the writing process and in the creation process. Because, mind you, I only had 3 weeks to create this TEDx speech and to rehearse it and to frickin' nail it. And then step number 3, speak from your soul. During this TEDx speech, I literally had to practice what I was preaching inside of the speech. I gave a framework on decision making to become a warrior for possibility. And during this speech, during this time, I was feeling out as to whether I would disclose some of the specific events or infer to specific events that happened with my dad growing up and certain abuses that I experienced while he was drunk and an alcoholic. And as I leaned into really listening to myself learn and relearn exactly what the process of decision making and becoming a warrior for possibility really was, I had to practice what I was preaching. And so in the speech, I decided to finally disclose some information that my dad had wanted me to come out with for years, and the fact that I had been molested as a child. And my dad had given me permission to speak on this topic because I could speak on it from a place of forgiveness and compassion for the man that did that to me, the alcoholic drunk that was no longer my dad. Once my dad became sober, he was like a totally transformed person. And I always said that the version of the man who did that to me died. And it was from that space of being able to deeply connect in with that promise that I had made to my dad years ago, that when he got sober, he made me promise that I would come out with it so that any person, the 1 in 4 girls or the 1 in 6 boys that have experienced some form of childhood sexual abuse, that shame and that stigma and that plagiarized preconception of what that means for you could be diluted and disseminated and eviscerated. And so I chose in this talk to lean into speaking that specific detail about my personal life, a detail that I had never revealed before publicly, because I said I would never reveal that while my dad was alive. But since he passed in January, I asked my mom, and she gave me permission. Not that I needed permission, like, let's be honest, I don't really ask for permission for much, but we had a beautiful conversation about how my dad would have wanted me to speak into this in such an amazing, pivotal speech and opportunity. And that by this opportunity, it was my opportunity to share that piece of my past and also hopefully give people permission to be able to lean into it. And also hopefully give people the permission that their past does not have to define their future. And so in that space of speaking from my soul, I really was able to find that heart-centered space so that the talk was less of just some academic waxing poetic about here's how you make a fancy decision and here's how, here's my 3-step process to becoming a warrior for possibility, and this sort of academic approach that is well known for TEDx events, but also having that heart piece and having that personal piece to it was very important for me. And because of the personal nature of the talk, it actually allowed me to connect on a deeper level to the words that I was saying. And because I was bringing forth the emotions of anger and sadness and fear and guilt and shame, and because I was able to bring forth those emotions, I was able to literally practice what I was preaching inside of the speech. So, let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite weird tip? Was it rehearsing everywhere, getting an amazing coach who would take your speech to the next level, or really understanding how to speak vulnerably from your soul? Because the more vulnerability you bring, the more empathy you not only create with others, but the more empathy and compassion you have for yourself. Let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite tip to prepare for your big TEDx talk? And if you are looking to increase your visibility and start giving more speeches, more talks, speaking more on a regular basis, then definitely get your booty up on the wait list for Communication Queens. You see, Communication Queens teaches you how to profit from guest podcasting. And I didn't just one day show up as a TEDx speaker. I have been on over 100 podcast interviews, practicing, refining, and honing my oratory skill set of speaking extemporaneously, of being able to craft and direct my thoughts while speaking. And it is through that practice that by the time I had the opportunity to do a TEDx talk and to do it in 3 weeks, I still felt prepared because I'd had hundreds of hours of practice of being on podcasts to prepare me to feel comfortable speaking in front of an audience and giving a presentation that not only motivates, but educates as well. And inside Communication Queens, I will teach you exactly how to get your talk standing out so that you share your story, serve from your soul, and are also able to successfully sell your products, your services, and your business while on a podcast. So if that speaks to your soul, then definitely get your booty on the wait list inside of Communication Queens. And if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. As always, my fellow sovereigns, own your throne, mind your business, because your reign is now. Let's see. Have you ever... Well, I just gave mine recent. And if you're thinking, she doesn't sound American. There we go.